Welcome to Jags AM. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton, John Oehser are with me as it's game week. So we've been focusing on the Miami Dolphins all week long, and that's what we'll talk about here on Jags AM today. Starting off with big thing number one, off to the races. As we know, the Dolphins are a speedy team, and Doug Peterson talked about that yesterday.
Speed. And a lot of misdirection, a lot of motions and shifts. Obviously they do a great job with that in their run game as well. And it kind of can cause you to just distort your eyes a little bit, right? And get off your cues. And that's where some of the big plays have come, for them. And obviously, we know Tyreek and Waddle and the guys. I mean, just a lot of speed and something that we got to be able to at least try to match, otherwise, be in the right position.
Brian, we always talk about how speedy, how fast that Miami team is, but Doug talked a little bit about just making sure the team knows they can go out there and play with them, not just thinking, oh, they're going to run by us no matter what. You have to go in there with that mentality.
Well, look, if anybody's watched them and they've been on TV, this is a really good team. They've won more. They've had more winning seasons in a row, 4 in a row, than they've had in 25 or 30 years. I mean, this is a really good team with great speed. Just to kind of back that up, they do the speed of play, how fast a player ran. Of the top 10 in the NFL last year, 6 were Miami Dolphins. And the way that they move and the offense sets up, and there's a lot of window dressing, but it's not that normal window dressing. It's so fast you have to take it seriously. That, I think, is going to be the story of this game. How quickly does Ryan Nielsen's defense coalesce? Get back to what they do and figure it out, because Miami will confuse you.
Yeah, left to their own devices, the Dolphins will run by you. The thing is, you can't leave them to their own devices, which means to me, Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen, Eric Armstead, and Devon Hamilton are the keys to this game. I don't think you can outrun the Dolphins. I do believe you can beat them at the line of scrimmage, because the Jaguars are built to beat any team at the line of scrimmage. It's the Jaguars' strength. So how do you combat speed? Punch it, baby.
Punch him in the mouth. Absolutely. Big thing number 2, going to be playing hurt. The injury reports came out yesterday. Fortunately for the Jaguars, only one player on there, Daniel Thomas. He's day-to-day. But the Dolphins listed 13 players. 11 of those are on defense, one of which very familiar here. Jalen Ramsey did not participate in practice. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury for the past couple of weeks. John, we talked a lot about what the offense for the Jaguars need to do, but they have lost a lot of players on that Dolphins defense to free agency, and now they're playing hurt as well. Is this an opportunity for the offense to go out there and do something for the Jags?
Well, I think you'd like the Jaguars offense after what they've done and the way they've built with Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk. You would like the opponent, us to be talking about the same thing each week, which is what the Jaguars can do against any opponent. A lot of the Dolphins' injuries this week are veterans' rest. I don't expect them to be as down as maybe the injury report looks. Jalen Ramsey is a great player. If he plays, he can take away a receiver. The magic of this offense supposedly is there's 4 or 5 different receivers you can go to. I was asked a lot this week, who do you think Jalen will take away? I don't care, because if he takes away Christian Kirk in this offense, there ought to be 3 other guys who can pick up the slack. That's the way it's built. That's the way it ought to play Sunday.
I'm surprised. I kind of thought you might make a back reference. The hamstring tied to the back. I mean,
we try to have
you've done a good job of holding on to that one since 2019. Yeah, for sure. I'd be stunned. And listen, I don't know, because I don't follow the Dolphins close enough. But if Jalen doesn't try to play on Sunday, I mean, there's nobody that embraces the petty any better than Jalen Ramsey. And despite the fact that he got traded where he wanted to get traded, and the Super Bowl ring and the money, and now he's in Miami, I mean, if somebody could stir it up this week, I'd love to be in the Dolphins locker room today, because today would be the day where he'd get all the media around him, and someone would ask one question, and then he'd just roll his eyes and take off after them for not asking the question that he wanted them to. Great player, but he's just one. He is just one. Here's the other variable we don't know about this defense, the health being one. Anthony Weaver's coming down from Baltimore. He's a first-time defensive coordinator bringing a new system down here. They have some of the issues on their own, so perhaps the Jaguars can take advantage of some miscommunication and create some confusion of their own.
New defensive coordinators on both sides of the ball. It's important to note. Our final big thing today is going to be Doug or press. Play calling still up in the air, or at least Doug's not sharing at this point. He talked about whether that gives them any kind of edge going into the game against Miami.
I think if you're just looking at the offense, I mean, and studying that, I mean, the coordinators are looking at personnel. They're looking at, formations, motion shifts, just like we do offensively. And I don't think it's really not a whole lot of difference. I think, Press and I think alike, a lot of times, and converse a lot of times during games. And I just think that if you're looking at it, there's probably not a lot of differences.
Brian, just like the depth chart says, maybe Chad Muma or Devin Lloyd, It's going to be Doug Peterson or Press Taylor calling the plays on Sunday. Doug seems to think they call plays very similarly. What do you think when it comes to that?
First question I got at the Ponte Vedra Rotary this morning. First question, and Doug has addressed it twice now this week. John, I think this has been the biggest non-story story since the middle of last season when it became an issue. And I get why it becomes an issue, because play calling is the low-hanging fruit. It's the first thing that you can point to. I've always believed that a good play is the one that works and a bad play is the one that doesn't. But the truth of the matter is that these two guys are so in line. Press Taylor and Doug Peterson are of the same mind. I don't think that Press would call a play that Doug didn't want him to call. And I think that they go back and forth all week long, putting the plan together. I think Press is Doug's right hand, so to speak, and he does what Doug wants him to do because that's the way those two guys work together. I just don't see it as being as big a story.
It's John's favorite story.
My head starts to hurt when you talk about this.
Yeah.
Look, the offense wasn't significantly different last year with Press calling plays the entire game or when they split it in 22. If you remember, Press called plays in the second half in 22, and that's when the offense lit it up in 22 when it did light it up. I couldn't agree more with Brian. I think it's the biggest non-issue. I think people wanted to find an excuse last year for why the offense wasn't working. They didn't want to see that the offensive line wasn't playing very well at times. So it's play calling. I'm bored with it at this point. Whoever calls plays, calls plays. If Doug thought there was a big difference, he'd make a change.
Well, and listen, and the players say the same thing. It doesn't matter what play is called. They obviously have worked all week on situations of when they're going to use different plays. It's about the players going out and executing. And too often last year on offense, they couldn't execute in the run game enough to be able to bring out the exotic plays that everyone wants to point to. So, non-story story.
Non-story story. All right, we're going to talk about some actual storylines coming up on Jags AM as we look more into the Dolphins as we prepare for the season opener.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Chelsea here. Tired of those drafty windows and high energy bills? It's time to upgrade with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, during our exclusive sale, you can save big on custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors designed to keep your home comfortable and secure all year round. Our Fibrex material is 2 times stronger than vinyl, providing superior durability and impact resistance. Plus, with flexible financing options available, there's never been a better time to make a switch. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Sudeth is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Sudeth crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and efficiency, it's no wonder why Sudeth is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the past 100 years, Sudeth has provided local, long-distance, and international moving services in Jags. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, Sudeth is helping you on moving day. Visit sudeth.com/Jags for a guaranteed quote.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs, cheering on the Jags from the Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions.
Jags AM is brought to you by Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. You can go to fieldsauto.com. Also, Jags fans, on Tuesday, September 10th from 5 to 6, head to that Publix location in Neptune Beach to meet Ross Madisick, Cam Little. We've added some extras here, Asezi Odumewu, and Tyler Lacey of your Jacksonville Jaguars for a special appearance as they gear up for the home opener. That's the Publix at 630 Atlantic Boulevard in Neptune Beach. Tuesday, September 10th from 5 to 6 for that meet and greet. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Welcome back into Jags AM. As we get ready for facing off against the Miami Dolphins, we heard some from head coach McDaniels, and he's a very well-researched guy. He's going to look into every team that they're facing off against. But I always find it interesting to kind of see how the coach that we're facing breaks down the Jaguars. So he talked a little bit about what he sees from the Jaguars defense.
How they come off the ball, how they play with consistent technique and fundamentals, and their relentless strain. I think that's pretty obvious from the minimal game tape that we've watched, but that's something that's it's been a paramount in Coach Nielsen's kind of repertoire of defensive lines and defensive fronts that he's coached in previous teams. So very talented group that is playing hard together. That's what I see on tape.
So repertoire, I love a little repertoire reference.
He's a Renaissance guy.
Absolutely. Brian, when you hear that, obviously we've heard that from Nielsen himself, but this will be the first time we'll see it in the game with the Jaguars.
Yeah, we've seen it, though, on the practice field, and we saw it in the preseason games. The defensive line, as John alluded to during big things, it's the strength of this team. There are so many guys that can do so many things, and just the ability to mix and match the size of Eric Armstead inside or move him outside and bring in Trayvon Walker to put his hand on the ground in a 3 technique on a pass rushing situation. There's so many different variables that Ryan Nielsen can unleash, and he's right. McDaniel's right. They play with great intensity and great sense of purpose. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this group on Sunday.
Yeah, I had Eric Armstead on the Ozone podcast this week. Tease.
I saw that.
Look at
you like
you.
that?
Yeah.
Professional show business. And he said, look, we believe, and I believe, meaning Eric, that the game, the team should go through the defensive line. They should be able to dominate and be the identity of the team. He said it's a little egotistical, but that's how we believe. And I think in this case he's right. If you think about this defensive line, to me, Trevor Lawrence has a chance to ascend to elite status this year. Beyond that, the position group that can be dominant and can be considered among the league's best, to me, is this defensive line. And no better time to prove it. This defensive line has a chance to go disrupt a great Miami offense, but it's a Miami offense that has been prone to being disrupted by great defenses. That's the matchup the Jaguars need and must win.
And just to play off that for a second, I mean, Eric Armstead was a part of a unit in San Francisco that absolutely was the heartbeat of what they did. You knew when you played San Francisco, you were going to have a hard time scoring points. And that set the tempo for every team that played the Niners.
And if this line isn't that, then I think this team's in trouble. I mean, I think there's many issues, not issues, but storylines for the Jaguars. If the defensive line is that, I think they're really good. If they're not that, then I'm not sure how they stop people.
someone we've talked about having a big year, Trayvon Walker. We always like to kind of see what other coaches think of him. Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Steelers, called him a game wrecker. And then Mike McDaniel talked about some of Trayvon's strengths as well.
Both on run and pass, not just on pass, but in run, you're scared of Walk making a play at the point of attack or from, maybe from the backside of a play. I think his game is kind of just saw little glimpses of evolution that is coming. You can tell that they're preparing to put him in positions to make plays and to be a primary area of focus. So that's going to have to be something that each one of our offensive players along the line of scrimmage, including tight ends and receivers, we're going to have to be aware of his game and what it's going to take several people to slow him down for sure.
John, you've long said Trayvon's work in the run game is probably one of his strongest attributes. And
I think he's dominant there without having, I don't say work very hard, but you know what I'm saying? I think he's dominant there naturally. To me, Trayvon Walker's storyline is this. Number 1 overall pick in the draft, everybody outside football is going to pick what he doesn't do apart. Mm-hmm. Every coach that watches him goes, boy, I'd like to have one of those. Yeah. Oh, boy, I'd like to have that. And so I think that's probably what, for a couple of years, has been the case. Maybe it'll continue to be the case. I don't know if he'll be a 20-sack guy, but I know that every time football people start watching him, they're like, boy, I'd like to, that would help if we had one of those.
I was walking through Detroit during the draft, and a Lions fan grabbed me and said, hey, thanks for taking Trayvon Walker. Gave us Aiden Hutchinson. Great. Aiden Hutchinson is a terrific pass rusher and has been a really good football player. I think right now we're about to see the reason why Trayvon Walker was the number 1 overall pick. Mike McDaniel alluded to it. If you go back and you listen to what he said, right? They all knew this was coming. They all knew what he was capable of. Nobody was surprised that Trayvon Walker was selected as the number 1 overall pick. No one, because they understood his size, his length, his speed, his determination, his mentality. It is all coming to fruition right now. And I think this year, people will say, oh, I get it now. They were disappointed because he only had 3 sacks as a rookie and he's a pass rusher. But it was never just about his rookie year. It was about the kind of football player that he will be in year 3, 4, 5, and on into when they finally pay him. He's tremendous. And if you didn't see it last year, buckle up. You're going to see it on Sunday.
Should be good. Paired up with Josh Hines-Allen as well, so that's going to be dangerous. Our final soundbite from Mike McDaniel. He talked a little bit about Brian Thomas Jr. Obviously, that was our first-round draft pick, but the Dolphins were scouting him heavily, so McDaniel says they're very familiar with his game.
Super talented player that has a unique combination of being able to be a down the field, third level receiver that can track and make plays down the field, while also having a route running skill set to do your underneath and intermediate routes. You see a very talented individual that can take his game as far as he wants to take it. I think it's adding to the plethora of LSU Tigers out there in the league. He's a very talented individual that we will be well aware of when he's out there on the field. It won't be a surprise because we did a lot of work on him coming out.
Brian Thomas has impressed us so far in the limited amount that we've seen him. Excited to see him in game 1.
I am. And I'll mea culpa right here. I mean, this was not a player that I wanted the Jaguars to take. I wanted them to take a big guy. I wanted them to fortify the offensive line in a draft that was deep. But it appears I'm wrong on that because having watched him run, right, just to see this big, long frame run down the field and make plays during the preseason games, I realized what they saw in him, the ability he has to back a defense off the line of scrimmage, how that will open other things up. I'm very excited to watch him play. They had a plan for him when they drafted him, and we're going to see the first glimpses of it on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah who said during the pre-draft stuff that outside that top 3, which in the draft sometimes you get, preconceived notions, and there are going to be 3 guys who are going to be in the top 10. But outside of that group, this was the guy who had a chance to be the number 1 wide receiver. I'm a broken record on this. I usually expect nothing out of rookies, but during training camp practices and preseason games, he started doing stuff that looked more like veteran stuff than a rookie. And I don't know if that means he's going to be consistent at it all the time in every game the way a veteran needs to be, but I think he's going to show, and I think he's going to matter and be a difference maker more than a lot of rookies are. So I think he adds to what is now a really strong 5 or 6 headed skill group. I think he may make this the deepest skill group maybe it's ever had. I mean, I can't compare wide receiver tandems to Jimmy and Keenan because that's still the elite. But in terms of going 5 or 6 guys who can make a difference, I don't know they've had one like this.
Well, I think we've said this. He has the potential. He's that big receiver who can run, and they've had big receivers and they've had guys who could run, but they haven't had the combination since Jimmy.
Right? Since '82.
Yeah, I mean, he left after 2005, so it's been a long time. He looks like he's got that potential to be that big guy who can run that this team has looked for through the years. They've drafted a lot of receivers, but haven't been able to find it. It's high praise. He hasn't earned it yet, but it looks like he could.
Looks good, and a lot of potential of what he can become as well. It's very exciting. Stay with us here on Jags AM. We'll go over our game predictions after the break.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year 1 in one of Dreamfinders' 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year 1 and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Sudeth is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Sudeth crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and efficiency, it's no wonder why Sudeth is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the past 100 years, Sudeth has provided local, long-distance, and international moving services in Jags. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, Sudeth is helping you on moving day. Visit Sudeth.com/Jags for a guaranteed quote.
Chelsea here. Tired of those drafty windows and high energy bills? It's time to upgrade with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, during our exclusive sale, you can save big on custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors designed to keep your home comfortable and secure all year round. Our Fibrex material is 2 times stronger than vinyl, providing superior durability and impact resistance. Plus, with flexible financing options available, there's never been a better time to make a switch. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Sudeth is Florida's trusted and reliable moving company. Sudeth, proud to be the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. To get a guaranteed quote, visit Sudeth.com/Jags.
Welcome to the future.
What? Tiki vibes? Little hula? Like, have a drink by the beach? I love it. We're going to do our best at predicting the future. We're going to talk about what we're expecting to see on Sunday, but instead of just giving you score predictions, we're going to try to predict what we think the headlines will be on Monday morning after the game. So, Brian, when you read about the game on Monday, what are you going to hear?
Yeah, well, all I heard yesterday in talking to coaches and players was about the speed and misdirection, right? And it reminded me of one of my favorite lines from the movie Top Gun. Where'd he go? Where'd who go? Right? That's, to me, going to be the difference in the game. Where'd he go, right? Where did who go, and how did that impact the overall play? So who went where, why, and how? If the Jaguars are going to win this ball game, they are going to have to be dialed in. And I tried as I could. Darnell Savage, Tyson Campbell, to get them to tell me about defending Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and the speedy running back I-chain. And I couldn't get them off the mark. They were all about do our jobs, focus on our technique. They were clearly in the school of Nielsen, which is it doesn't matter them, what matters is us. So, but I think the speed and the misdirection are the greatest asset that the Dolphins have. And not having seen this defense, John, right? It's the liability that I perceive is will they be ready for that?
Yeah, that's the storyline of the game. I went with speed killed. And once I sent it, I realized, well, that could go either way. I mean, if the Dolphins are great, then speed killed. But what I think it's going to mean is that the speed was killed. Because, as I said at the top of the show, my theme that I've been pounding on all week, and I'll continue, the front four that I'm talking about, there's more than four, but Hamilton, Hines Allen, Walker, and Armstead, they have to be the hammer. They have to get penetration and disruption where, as Bucky Brooks said yesterday, where you bite the head of the snake off. Yeah. And you get Tua out of it, you disrupt them. Think about the Super Bowls where the Giants beat the Patriots, where the front four just disrupted everything, and you realize that, oh, this great offense doesn't matter. If this is disrupted here, then nothing else functions in the NFL. To me, that's the Jaguars' advantage in this game. Well, I shouldn't say that. That needs to be the advantage if they're going to disrupt this offense.
I agree with you, John. I also am going to focus a bit on the other side of football for mine because we need to see a hot start out of this offense. So a hot start down south is the way that this is going to get done.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. I went to journalism school too, John. I can do this once in a while. If you can slow down Miami's offense as much as you can, but you are going to have to outscore them. This is never going to be a 10-0 game. They're going to have to find the end zone early and often. I think Trevor Lawrence is very capable of doing that. And I think one thing we haven't mentioned a ton about, Miami Dolphins lost a bunch of players on defense, specifically their line, one of those big players being Christian Wilkins. He's not there anymore. So if you can go in there, establish the run with Travis Etienne, open things up for Trevor so he can throw it around a little bit, I think they have the opportunity to outscore them, keep it close in the fourth quarter, and do what you got to do.
Just an underlying theme, and it's one that I'm focused on, is this is a big game because this is an AFC playoff team from a year ago. They've had 4 straight winning seasons. They're at the top of the charts offensively. All the numbers, right? And at the bottom of the chart in terms of sacks allowed, right? So we talk about them being disruptive. They only allowed 31 sacks last year. This is a really, really good team. So this is a big game. Well, we know the Jaguars did not play very well in the big games on their schedule last year. Kansas City, Buffalo, the Niners, the Bengals, and the Ravens. So I'm looking at this game as, let's see. Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke brought in coaches and players to change the trajectory, to change the dynamic in the locker room, guys who were accomplished, who had been there and played in big games, coached in big games. I'm really eager to see if those things show up on Sunday.
So many questions. We're going to find out soon. Stay with us on Jags AM one more time as we go over what we got coming up the rest of the week.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs, cheering on the Jags from the Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit Jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions. Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans. Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out ZipChair.com to browse all the customizable options. ZipChair is furniture for fans. Jags fans, you can also cheer on the Jaguars as they travel to Miami as they take on the Dolphins this Sunday. The official away game watch party is at Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by The Roar and Jackson DeVille. Get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up that lively atmosphere. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
A linebacker in Exofoya, it says Chad Muma or Devin Lloyd on the depth chart. Is there any clarity, or is that situational based? Or
it's usually situational. Yeah, situational based. Yeah. It's Doug Peterson or Press Taylor.
You love it. I know you love a quip, John, so I'm sure you
Good
love
quip.
it.
Yeah, and again, I think this is one where everybody's all wound up over the play caller. And I think Doug, having been around this game for 30 years, is kind of amusing himself a little bit by not telling anybody what's going on.
Have to have fun with it.
I think he walks off the podium and he talks to somebody as soon as the door closes and he goes, hey, got it.
Got him.
Yeah.
We do know Press Taylor will be on the sidelines, so if you guys are that interested, you can just watch and try to figure it out yourself.
I think everyone should remember that Andy Reid calls the plays in Kansas City, right? I mean, he's still the head coach. He's got offensive coordinator. He doesn't tell you what's going on. You just know that he has a huge influence on every single play, and that is Doug's mentor. So Doug is always going to have a strong influence, and I don't think he's ever going to tell people, Press called the plays today. I called the plays today. I just think you understand his influence.
It is. All right, I guess that's our cue to get out of here. We appreciate you. Enjoy the game this weekend. NFL football is back. We'll be back on Monday to talk about everything.